relies upon their faith, knowing that it's their faith that saves them, not their own work. You find someone like my grandmother, Lottie Mahowski. It could be an aunt, an uncle, an older brother, an older sister. It could be a teacher, one of the religious ed people here. It could be Deacon Bill Johnson, who's probably been a confirmation sponsor for 100 people by now. You find someone that you know who can be that model for you and get them to place their hand on the back of your shoulder come confirmation. And I guarantee you, a name that means something to you, and a confirmation sponsor who's real and living their faith. And all of a sudden, this confirmation sacrament is going to take on new meaning for you. And it won't be a graduation, but it's going to mean something very real to you. Wow. I'm not done, but thank you. I'm not done, but thank you. I want to tell you a story. This is based on something that actually happened, but you won't believe me, so I'm going to encourage you when you go home today, Google it, make sure I'm not making it up. True story. How many of you have ever heard of someone by the name of Charles Blondin? B-L-O-N-D-I-N. If you've never heard of this person, look him up. He's amazing. First American to ever cross Niagara Falls on a tightrope. True story. There's black and white photos that prove it. Charles Blondin was going to do one of the most amazing, crazy things someone's ever done. Charles Blondin ties a tightrope from one end of the lower gorge all the way across. And he's going to walk across this tightrope. Now, if you've ever visited Niagara Falls, you know many people have tried crazy things and died. People have gone over in barrels, people have gone over kayaking, and yes, people have tried tightrope walking. And a lot of people die or break bones or are injured. No one had ever gotten all the way across successfully until Charles Blondin. Or if you Google him, you'll find out his name was known as the Great Blondin. He ties a tightrope from one end to the other, and early in the morning he starts to walk across. Reporters came out. Photographers, which is why you can see black and white photos of the event. And he had his own people supposedly selling tickets for his show he was going to do later that evening at some amphitheater nearby. Eventually, he makes it all the way across, and the crowds go crazy. It was a well-publicized event, but no one thought he could actually make it. And when he gets across, everyone starts chanting his name, Blondin, Blondin. And he says to the crowd, this is absolutely true, he says, do you believe I can go back again? And they say, yes, we believe in you, we believe in you. He walks halfway across, and he sits down. He makes himself something to eat, I kid you not. There's a picture of it. He eats it, he gets back up, and he finishes crossing. Now he's just showing off. He gets to the other side, and again, everyone's chanting his name. Blondin, Blondin, everyone's going crazy. He says, do you believe I can go back again? Well, they can't believe it. They can't believe that not only has he successfully gone across once, he's going to go a third time now? And they all start chanting and encouraging, we believe you can, we believe in you. So this time he makes it harder. He gets out a wheelbarrow. He balances the wheelbarrow. There's a photo of this. He balances the wheelbarrow on the tightrope and he starts to walk across. Mothers cover the eyes of their small children just in case. Remember, he is operating with no safety nets. If that wheel of the wheelbarrow comes off even just a little bit, it will take him plunging to his death. But as you can imagine, he gets to the other side. Absolutely true. When he gets to the other side, the crowds have doubled in size and everyone's screaming his name. People are buying tickets. He's sold out. So people can't believe now he's sold out the show. They should be done. But he's going to make his point. The rest of this is legend. He says, do you believe I can go back one more time? And everyone says, yes, we believe in you. We believe in you. He gets out the wheelbarrow one last time, puts on the ropes. He takes a step. And then he pauses. He pauses, he looks out over the crowd, and he says, who then will get into my wheelbarrow? There were no volunteers that day. No one volunteered. You see, they believed in him, but they had no faith. They believed in him, but they had no faith. In the book of James, it says, even Satan believes in God, so if you do, so what? Believing in God is not the same as getting in the wheelbarrow and placing your faith in God. Confirmation is getting in the wheelbarrow. Confirmation is getting in the wheelbarrow. Every year, Gallup surveys Americans on all sorts of stuff. One of the questions they ask is, do you believe in God? Raise your hand if you want to take a guess at what percentage of Americans say they believe in God every year. Take a while. Need someone to take a guess. Yes. 98% say they believe in God. Someone else. It's a good guess. How about someone else? What percentage of Americans, pretty much every year for about the past 10 years? 80%. He's going a little bit lower. Anybody think it's lower than 80? Think it's lower than 80? What do you think? 65. It sounds like a good number, right? And you, sir? 76%. That's an excellent guess. It's just wrong. For about the past 10 years, the average number of Americans, percentage of Americans who say they believe in God is about 90%. Now, here's the amazing thing. Would you agree? Does it look like 90% of Americans believe in God? A lot of no's, some strong no's from some here. 90% of Americans, you know what? Anyone can say they believe in God. It's another thing to actually say we put our faith in Him. 9/11. America came under a terrible attack, September 11th. 2001. Where did everybody run to that weekend? Take a wild guess. Where did a bunch of Americans run to that next day, that next weekend? Church. Notre Dame, University of Notre Dame did a study to see how long record attendance at church would go. 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, we were at record attendance, and by the third week, we were back to normal low attendance. 7 in 10 Americans go to church. Excuse me, 7 out of 10 Americans do not attend church. 7 out of 10 do not attend church. You see, we got scared. Oh my gosh, they might blow up something else. Oh my gosh, we're so scared. How terrible. We need God. 3 weeks later, oh, I guess we're okay, never mind. You are being challenged to get into the wheelbarrow, to place your faith in this God, to place your faith in this God. What time do I have? Okay, this is crazy. Here we go. I need 4 volunteers, 2 guys, 2 girls, willing to do whatever I say. You're going to be in a skit, I'm going to embarrass you. All right? You're going to be in a skit, I will thoroughly embarrass you. This guy right here. You know what's coming now. You know what's coming. So come on, I'll let you do it because you kind of know what to do. All right, let's see. Can you control yourself? Yes. All right, I'll use you to control yourself. Come on up. I need one more girl. I need one crazy girl. I don't see any. All right, I'll take this girl right here, so come on up. Thank you. All right, 2 guys, 2 girls. All right, I'm going to ask all of you to trust us here. I'm going to ask everyone to be very respectful. Be very respectful. No talking during this very quick, short, stupid skit. It's very silly, but you can probably imagine that no matter how ridiculous this skit is, I probably have a much deeper meaning to explore once the skit is over with. What is your name, sir?
My name's Nick.
Nick, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and stand in that chair without falling over.
No problem.
All right. You are who? Helmut? Helmut? Is that German? Oh, very good. Helmut? Ellie? Aaron, Helmut. Okay. Aaron, Ellie, Helmut. I'll probably forget, but you'll help me. Okay? Some of us in this skit are little children. You're not. All right? What you're going to do is just be an object, but you got to come to life for me when it's time, okay? Yeah. Trust me, you'll know what to do. The 3 of you are these small children. And do not crawl on the floor. No one will be able to see you. So all you got to do is turn into whatever I say. Do whatever I say. It'll make sense as we go, okay? All right? Helmut, Ellie, and Aaron. Whew. All right, here we go. We begin as all good stories go. Once upon a time, not so long ago, there lived a tall oak tree that stood tall under the oak. Yes. All right, you don't want to do that. All right. Stood tall, providing shade on hot and hazy days. No one spent more time under the great oak than the 3 children that would come to play every day after school. They would skip to the great oak. Nice skipping, Helmut. Their favorite game was tag. All right, shouldn't be so abusive, just tag. And they were only safe if they were hugging the tree's trunk. All right, the tree is very encouraging. Pretty sad when the tree says, please hug my trunk. It's not just terrible. All right, so these were 3 children, and they loved playing together. But summer would pass, and they would go home. They would go home. Summer passed, and fall came. Okay, I guess that's what fall looks like. Fall would come, the children loved to play. This time of year, they'd come and they'd like to make big piles of leaves. Come and make big piles of leaves under the oak tree. But there were often not enough leaves, so they would have to shake the leaves from the tree. All right, easy, easy. And then they would begin giggling uncontrollably. Come on, girls. How much showing you two up? Sometimes they love to dance in the leaves. See your best dance moves. They would dance in the leaves. Oh, a little robot move. All right, there. Maybe a little sprinkler move, Helen? Ah, there you go. They loved playing under the tree so often. Fall would pass and they'd all go back home. Go home. Fall passed and winter came to the great oak. Oh, of course. It's okay. A little sluggish. Vitamin B will help. Okay. So winter came, but today something was different. Ellie was missing. So turn around, Ellie. You're missing. She had caught pneumonia and been in bed for weeks. So Aaron and Helmut came to the tree alone. They were so sad. So sad that Aaron said, "I'm afraid Ellie will never get better."
Ellie will never get better.
And she started to cry out loud. Okay. Helmut felt so bad he lay down in the snow and tried to do snow angels to make Aaron laugh. She tried to laugh, but just couldn't. She just kept on crying. So then they gathered up close under the oak tree together. Together, close. Helmut put his arm around her and said, "There, there." Say, "There, there." This is really awkward, isn't it? And then all of a sudden, he looked up into the tree's branch and he gasped. He noticed that was really bad. I didn't know there'd be sap dripping from the tree. Just then, he looked and he saw their initials they carved in the great oak. And seeing those initials carved in the great oak gave them hope somehow. And for a little boy and a little girl, hope is all there is sometimes. He took her by the hand and led her away from the dripping tree as quickly as he could. Everyone was told to close their eyes. Everyone closed their eyes. Close your eyes for a moment. Ellie, go hide behind the tree so no one can see you. Then everyone opened their eyes not knowing what had happened. Spring came to the tree. Okay. And they came to the tree to check out the new blooms on the tree. Helmut and Aaron, go check out the blooms. Helmut looked at the tree and said, "Nice blooms." Then all of a sudden, Aaron heard something. She thought Helmut had passed gas. But that wasn't it. Sorry, Helmut. That wasn't it. Someone was behind the tree. It was their friend. All of a sudden, Ellie jumped out from behind the big oak. She jumped out. Jump out over here. Aaron gasped. Helmut went to throw his arms around his friend. Their friend was back. They danced that day. And the oak tree seemed to smile that day. The end. Give them all a big hand. Thank you all. All right, I'm going to have Nick stay here for a minute because Nick is going to get us to what is a real significant meeting and maybe the most important thing I'll say to you all day. But before we do, Nick, just bear with me.
Of course.
I attended a Catholic high school. I remember going to Driscoll Catholic, and when I went to Driscoll, it was amazing. We had some great people there, and I learned so much about my faith. But we had a pretty good football team out there. There was a young man, he was a junior, he was a kicker, and he was getting scouted. He was going to get to play college ball, maybe even the pros. It was that good. He put all of his hope in football. Now listen, if you're an athlete, I want you to do the best you can. I'm all for athletics. My son was a great athlete. My son played at St. Charles East. He was the starting center from the time he was a sophomore. He could have played football for Dayton. He chose instead to go play rugby for the Iowa Hawkeyes for 4 years. I'm all for athletics. But this young man, from my junior year in high school, he plays